Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is enjoying their day. Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Victor encourages Adam while blocking Claire. The Young and the Restless spoilers document that Victor Newman, Eric Braeden, believes his youngest son is on track to reconcile. The mustache feels good about Adam Newman, Mark Grossman, and Chelsea Lawson, Melissa Claire Egan, reconciling. Get updates on the latest news about The Young and the Restless, straight to your inbox. We use your personal data for interest-based advertising, as outlined in our privacy notice. What is this? Kyle Abbott, Michael Mealer, and Claire Newman, Haley Aaron, are growing closer. They are likely an unstoppable couple, no matter what Victor thinks of his granddaughter's first romantic interest. Victor just dramatically reinforced his place as the head of the Newman family. Tagging him as the Don of Genoa City, Wisconsin, would be hard to argue against. Victor Newman heads the dating game. It's no surprise that Victor wants to engineer outcomes in his family. He feels that his experience in life, including his notorious personal life, makes him an expert on matters of the heart. To his great credit, he did manage to convince Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott, to remarry him for a third time in 2013. This reconciliation resulted in their longest period of marriage ever. So, it's fair to say that Victor does know how to find his way back to true love. That makes his encouragement of Adam and Chelsea's move to the old ranch house worthwhile. But trying to break Claire's first relationship is wrong. What is this? Victoria Newman stands up for her daughter. Victoria Newman, Amelia Heinley, is still getting used to having Eve back in her life. Of course, Eve goes by Claire, and all due disrespect is owed to the now late Jordan Howard, Colleen Zenk. So, when Victor got cranky after returning from the hospital following the shooting, Victoria stood up for her daughter. But she didn't take it too far because Victoria knew her father was enduring the effects of Ian Ward's, Ray Wise, bullet going through him. Victoria's defense of Claire is correct. Her father only opposes Kyle because of Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman. There's no basis for Victor to legitimately go against Claire's developing relationship with Kyle, except for the reality of him being an Abbott and using Mealer's character during the Glissade deception. But over at the old ranch house. In contrast, Victor has been thinking good thoughts about Adam and Chelsea for months. The offer of the old ranch house was intended as part of an effort to cajole a reunion. Victor telling Chelsea that he thinks differently about her now was very important. She gained his approval, opening the daytime door to Adam's encouragement. While Adam and Chelsea are cautious in not wanting to create what they feel is a false hope for their son, a Chatham reunion feels more likely than not. Victor will be given credit if that happens, with renewed love potentially being in the winter or spring air on the Newman estate. What is this? This site is a leading source for everything linked to The Young and the Restless. Check back regularly for Y&R spoilers and news. Victor Newman heads the dating game. Victor Newman has always been the larger-than-life titan of Genoa City, the ruthless mogul whose empire has shaped lives for decades. But what happens when the man who has conquered the business world and crushed enemies without breaking a sweat decides to turn his attention towards something as unexpected and playful as a dating game? That question alone is enough to send shockwaves through the fan base and stir up endless speculation. The very idea of Victor, a man whose mere presence commands respect and intimidation, stepping into the realm of romance in such a tongue-in-cheek way opens up a world of possibilities. Is this a moment of levity in an otherwise serious saga, or is there a hidden motive behind this seemingly odd turn of events? When whispers first emerged that Victor would be at the center of what insiders are calling the dating game, many assumed it was just another one of his elaborate schemes. After all, Victor never does anything without purpose. Could he be using the concept of romance and courtship as a way to test loyalty, lure out deception, or perhaps even meddle in the romantic lives of those closest to him? As viewers know, Victor loves nothing more than pulling strings from behind the curtain, and even when he claims to be semi-retired, he never truly steps away from orchestrating drama. But what if, this time, the game is more literal than figurative, and Victor himself is playing the leading man in a setting that no one could have predicted. Imagine the setup: Genoa City's most eligible, or in some cases, ineligible, bachelors and bachelorettes being maneuvered onto a stage of romance, while Victor presides as the one who either guides them to their fate or takes center stage himself. There is an undeniable irony in Victor Newman, a man whose romances have spanned decades, tragedies, and betrayals, becoming the face of what sounds like a light-hearted matchmaking event. Yet, irony is exactly what soaps thrive on, and Victor's dating game could be less about fun and more about control. Some insiders hint that the move is designed as part of a broader Newman family intervention, while others suspect Victor himself might be putting his own heart back on the line after so many years of watching from the sidelines. The timing of such a storyline could not be more significant. Genoa City has been a hotbed of romantic entanglements lately, with shifting loyalties, new faces, and old flames rekindling. Victor, as always, is deeply invested in his children's choices, often to the point of intrusion. Could his hosting or participating in a dating game be a sly tactic to test the men who want to be part of the Newman dynasty, or even the women who might become threats or allies? Picture a scenario where Adam, Nick, and Victoria are all pulled into the spectacle, whether by coercion or curiosity, only to realize their father is manipulating the entire setup to see who is truly loyal and who can survive the scrutiny of love under pressure. But then again, soap opera storytelling thrives when the unexpected becomes personal. Could Victor's involvement signal a more vulnerable storyline where the great man finally acknowledges that companionship and romance still matter to him at this stage of life? Fans have long admired his devotion to Nikki, but they also know that marriages in Genoa City are never entirely safe from temptation, betrayal, or sudden twists. Could Victor's dating game be his way of reaffirming his love for Nikki in the most public and dramatic way possible, setting up a surprise renewal of vows or a reaffirmation of their bond? Or could it open the door to a test of Nikki's patience, as Victor's playful dabbling in matchmaking stirs up jealousy or insecurity? The sheer theatricality of the storyline offers endless opportunities. If Victor truly takes the helm of a dating show-style setup, fans could expect outrageous one-liners, ruthless eliminations, and sharp-eyed observations that only Victor could deliver. Imagine him sitting across from Genoa City's most notorious romantics, Phyllis, Sharon, Audra, Sally, asking questions not to uncover compatibility but to expose ulterior motives. Every rose, every question, every date would be less about love and more about strategy. Because at the end of the day, Victor Newman has always played games better than anyone else, and love is just another arena where power can be won or lost. Longtime fans would also appreciate the meta-humor of such a storyline. Victor, who has orchestrated kidnappings, hostile takeovers, and family feuds, now orchestrating candlelit dinners and awkward introductions. The image alone is deliciously absurd, but that's what makes it ripe for soap gold. It's the kind of plot that blurs the line between satire and sincerity, making viewers laugh one moment and gasp the next. And who's to say Victor couldn't turn such a scenario into another Newman family empire venture? A Newman-branded dating service, perhaps? Stranger things have happened in Genoa City. Yet beneath all the potential humor lies a deeper theme: Victor Newman's ongoing relevance. For decades, he has been the unshakable patriarch, and stories like this remind fans that even the most powerful characters must evolve to stay compelling. The dating game, whether literal or metaphorical, forces Victor into a new space where charm, wit, and even vulnerability come into play. Could the man who has always won through intimidation and dominance prove he can win in a game where the heart, not the boardroom, is the ultimate prize? Or will he expose love itself as nothing more than another battlefield where only the strong survive? If the story unfolds as fans suspect, there will be ripple effects across the entire canvas. Nikki may have to defend her marriage in a way she hasn't in years, while Victor's children may resent or resist his meddling in their love lives. Rivals like Jack Abbott could mock the idea of Victor wasting his time on romance games, only to be pulled in when a surprise contestant turns out to be someone from his orbit. And then there are the wild cards, characters like Phyllis or Audra, who could seize the opportunity to manipulate the situation for their own gain. After all, in Genoa City, every game has stakes, and every heart is a potential pawn. As the storyline develops, fans should prepare for plenty of jaw-dropping moments. A dating game headed by Victor Newman is not going to be played by the usual rules. Expect sharp twists, shocking reveals, and emotional fallout. Could Victor be setting traps for those who think they can charm their way into his family fortune? Could he secretly be matchmaking to strengthen alliances for the Newman dynasty? Or is this all part of a grander plot where the prize isn't romance but loyalty, power, or even revenge? No matter how it unfolds, one thing is certain: Victor Newman has redefined what it means to head the dating game. For some, it's entertainment. For others, it's opportunity. But for Victor, it's always about control, power, and the unshakable truth that in Genoa City, no one plays the game better than he does. Victoria Newman stands up for her daughter. When it comes to the Newman family, drama is always expected, but this time the story hits especially close to home for Victoria Newman as she takes a stand for her daughter in a way that shakes the very foundation of Genoa City. For years, Victoria has been caught in the shadows of her father's empire, constantly fighting for respect and a sense of independence while navigating her own personal heartbreaks, betrayals, and triumphs. Now, she finds herself in a position where she can no longer stay silent, no longer hide behind the power and wealth of her family name. Instead, she is channeling all her strength, experience, and love into defending her daughter against forces determined to tear her down. Victoria's fierce maternal instincts have always been evident, but rarely has she been tested to this degree. The circumstances surrounding her daughter Claire's troubles have left the Newman clan divided and outsiders whispering. Claire's complicated past with Jordan's manipulations, her time of isolation, and her ongoing struggles to fit into the wider Newman circle make her a target in ways most young women would never imagine. While Victor and Nikki have their own ideas about how to handle Claire's integration into the family, it is Victoria who has become her daughter's unwavering advocate. The stakes are not simply about family loyalty, they're about identity, redemption, and the chance to finally break the cycle of pain that has haunted generations of Newmans. Victoria's stand is not without resistance. Within the Newman family, divisions always run deep, and Claire's place among them is still fragile. Adam, for instance, has little patience for yet another lost Newman child being given endless chances. He has made it clear that he believes Claire's past makes her dangerous and untrustworthy, and he resents the amount of attention she has received since her reintroduction to the family. Nick is more sympathetic but still cautious, knowing that siding too openly with Victoria could put him at odds with Victor. Even Nikki, who has tried to embrace her granddaughter, struggles with the scars of Jordan's twisted games and the painful memories that come with them. But Victoria refuses to let her daughter be dismissed, doubted, or demonized. She steps into her role as protector, champion, and mother with a conviction that is both inspiring and terrifying to those who know just how ruthless she can be when pushed. The same steel that made her a titan in the boardroom is now being used in defense of her child, and Genoa City is about to learn that there is nothing more dangerous than a Newman woman fighting for her family. Her defense of Claire also carries larger implications for her relationship with Victor. The great patriarch has always demanded loyalty above all else, but he has also been quick to cut off anyone he sees as a liability. If Victor perceives Claire as a threat to the Newman image, he could easily turn his back on her. This is where Victoria draws the line. For perhaps the first time in years, she is willing to openly challenge her father's authority and make it clear that no amount of wealth or legacy will matter if it comes at the expense of her daughter's happiness and safety. It is a bold stance, one that could pit father against daughter in a showdown that rivals some of the most memorable Newman family battles. Outside the family, Victoria's decision to stand up for Claire reverberates through the community. Rivals like Phyllis and Diane see an opportunity to exploit the cracks in the Newman armor, while Sharon, always empathetic, lends her support to Victoria's fight. Meanwhile, Claire herself struggles with feelings of guilt and unworthiness, questioning whether she deserves her mother's loyalty after everything that has happened. It is in these moments of vulnerability that the storyline takes on its deepest emotional weight, showing not just the drama of a family at war but the tenderness of a. In true soap fashion, Victoria's defense of her daughter will not come without a price. Friendships will be tested, alliances will shift, and enemies will circle. Could her devotion to Claire cost her standing at Newman Enterprises if Victor decides to punish her for defiance? Could it lead to fractures with her siblings that may never be repaired? Or could it ultimately bring about a stronger, more united Newman family, one that finally learns the true meaning of forgiveness and unconditional love? The ripple effects of this storyline extend far beyond one mother and daughter. It forces every character to reevaluate what family really means, what legacies are worth protecting, and whether redemption is truly possible in a town where secrets always rise to the surface. For Victoria, however, the answers are already clear. She will fight for her daughter with every ounce of strength she has, no matter what the cost. And in doing so, she reminds everyone that while Victor may be the head of the Newman dynasty, it is often the women of Genoa City who carry its heart and its soul. Victoria Newman standing up for her daughter marks a turning point not just in her own story but in the broader Newman saga. It is a moment of empowerment, defiance, and love, the kind of moment that cements her place not just as Victor's heir but as her own person, one who refuses to be silenced, one who refuses to let her child be destroyed by the mistakes of others. Whether this fight leads to victory, heartbreak, or shocking betrayal, one thing is certain: Victoria has finally found her voice, and nothing will stop her from using it.